Imagine this, you're huddled by a feeble fire 300,000 years ago. The night isn't just dark, it's alive. Every snap of a twig could be death. You're not the hunter here, you're the hunted. Your ancestors weren't just fighting the elements. They were running, hiding, and sometimes dying at the claws and teeth of monsters we can barely comprehend today. What if you had to face the predators that saw early humans as nothing more than prey? Could you have survived? That sound just beyond. The firelight, not the wind, something else, something deliberate. You strain your ears, every muscle taut. The feeble warmth of the fire does nothing against the chill creeping down your spine. Out there in the suffocating darkness of Pleistocene Europe, you weren't just cold and hungry. You were prey. And one of the most relentless hunters, stalking your kind wasn't a sleek cat or a lone wolf, It was a nightmare made real. The cave hyena. Forget the spotted hyenas of today's savannas. Think bigger, think meaner. Crocuta Spelaea wasn't just a scavenger skulking at the edges of a lion's kill. This was a hypercarnivore, a true apex predator, built like a tank on legs, standing over 3 feet tall at the shoulder and weighing up to 225 pounds. Significantly larger and more robust than any modern hyena. It was a bone-crushing machine. Its skull was massive, housing jaws powered by muscles that could generate staggering force. The true terror of the cave hyena wasn't just its size or strength, terrifying as those were. It was their numbers and their tactics. They hunted in coordinated packs, sophisticated and ruthless. Think of them as the special forces of the Ice Age. While lions might rely on explosive power in open terrain, hyenas excelled in the shadows, the dense forests, the rocky outcrops, the very landscapes early humans relied on for refuge. Archaeology tells a grim story. We've found human bones, Neanderthal and early Homo sapiens alike, in cave hyena dens across Europe. Bones bearing the unmistakable tooth marks of hyenas, gnawed, crushed, splintered from marrow. This isn't just evidence of scavenging. The placement, the types of bones, the sheer quantity, it screams active predation. They weren't just cleaning up after lions. They were dragging our ancestors back to their lairs. So how did our ancestors survive? Fire was crucial, a real deterrent, though not foolproof. High ground was essential. Hyenas, powerful as they were, weren't great climbers. Getting onto a large rock outcrop could mean the difference between life and death. Weapons mattered, but required immense courage. Most importantly, staying together. A lone human was easy pickings. A group stood a chance. The cave hyena wasn't invincible. But for hundreds of thousands of years, they were a constant reminder that for early humans, the night wasn't just dark and cold, It was giggling and hungry. Swap the icy caves of Europe for the steaming jungles of ancient South America. The air hums with insects and strange bird calls, but something's off. Where are the big cats? The packs of wolves. Millions of years ago, this continent belonged to a different kind of king. A king that ran on 2 legs, crowned with feathers, and armed with a beak like a bat. Forget harmless birds. You've stepped into the reign of the terror birds. Meet Titanos walleri, standing 8 to 10 feet tall, taller than a basketball hoop. Imagine staring up at a carnivorous ostrich, built like a tank. Their most terrifying feature, that skull, almost horse-sized, ending in a massive hooked beak. This wasn't for cracking seeds. This was a weapon designed for killing. Fast, efficiently, brutally, and those legs. Pure muscle. They could run at speeds potentially exceeding 30 miles per hour faster than a human Olympic sprinter. How did a bird kill? Think less bird, more velociraptor on steroids. Their hunting style was a terrifying blend of speed and precision. Imagine it spotting you across a grassland. 1 second, its statue still the next. It explodes forward. Within seconds, it closes. A gap you thought was safe. Now comes the horrifying part, the kill strike. Biomechanical studies suggest they used that beak like a pickaxe. With incredible neck strength, they'd deliver a single devastating downward blow. Target the skull to crush it, or the spine to sever it. The force would shatter bone with 1 hit. So did early humans actually encounter these living dinosaurs? The timeline is tight. The largest terror birds went extinct around 1.8 million years ago. Humans didn't reach South America until maybe 20,000 years ago, but Titanos fossils have been found in North America around 2 million years ago. Early hominins were spreading out of Africa then. Could they have met? It's possible. A terrifying thought, whether by a million years or a whisker. Humans mostly dodged the literal reign of terror birds. But picture it, you, an early hunter, see a shape taller than a man moving with impossible speed. Not a bear, not a cat. Something, feathered and hungry. It turns you lock-eyed. Your spear suddenly feels very small. Could you have survived that encounter? Welcome to the land of fire and razor-sharp survival, Pleistocene Australia. Every shadow under a rock could spell doom. Here, the deadliest predator was scaled, cold-blooded and massive. Forget Komodo dragons. You haven't seen scary until you've imagined Megalania prieska, Australia's real-life dragon. Picture, the biggest Komodo dragon, now triple its length. Megalania reached 23 feet, longer than a minivan, weighing over 1,300 pounds. This was a land crocodile. Its skull was nearly 2 feet long, packed with serrated teeth. Its tail, a sledgehammer. This was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the Australian bush. How did it hunt? Megalania was master of the ambush, perfectly camouflaged near a waterhole, waiting, then explosion. Using powerful legs, it launched with shocking speed. The initial bite was devastating. But that was just the start. Like Komodos, Megalania possessed venom, toxins preventing blood clotting and causing paralysis. Scale that venom up to its massive head, the dose would be devastating. For the first Aboriginal peoples arriving 65,000 years ago, Megalania was the land's ferocity incarnate. Every aspect of life dictated by its shadow. Setting up camp, high ground with open sightlines hunting, constant vigilance for tracks, hisses, tail drags, waterholes, essential but deadly traps. Fire helped, but knowledge was key. Learning its habits, its ambush spots, its signs. Why did Megalania vanish around 50,000 years ago? Climate change, human pressure. We don't know for sure, but for millennia, it was the ultimate land predator down under. So imagine, exhausted after a hunt, you crouch by a creek, you hear a rock shift, too heavy for a small lizard. You freeze, slowly, turn, massive head emerges, forked tongue tasting. Your scent, could you outrun it, or become another meal for the giant ripper lizard? Vast North American grasslands stretch to the horizon. Mammoths trumpet, bison thunder past. Suddenly, movement, something massive rises. Standing taller than a modern grizzly on all fours. When it rears up, over 11 feet of bone-crushing muscle, meet Arctodus simus, the short-faced bear. Possibly the most physically terrifying predator humans ever faced. Its build was terrifyingly efficient. Long dog-like legs built for speed and stamina. Lighter than a brown bear but still over a ton. This wasn't lumbering. This was a pursuit predator. Studies suggest it could run 30 to 40 miles per hour, easily, outrunning humans. Its range immense, Alaska to Mexico. It thrived where early humans crossed into its domain. How did it hunt? Think overwhelming dominance. Its strategy, kleptoparasitism, stealing kills. Picture dire wolves, bringing down prey. Then the ground shakes. Arctodus arrives. With a paralyzing roar, it simply walks in. Nothing could stand against it. But it wasn't just a thief. With its speed, it could run down slower prey. Or opportunistic humans. For early North Americans, Arctodus was a constant threat. Establishing camp required wide sightlines. Seeing it coming was your only warning. Fire. Less effective against this bold giant. Defensive walls, it stepped over them. Its incredible smell detected carcasses or you're cooking from miles away. Survival meant hypervigilance, sentries watching constantly. Moving camp frequently, extreme caution, near kills. Traveling in large groups, weapons, spears, might annoy it. The best defense was not being seen. And running if you were. Why did it vanish 12,000 years ago? Climate change, human pressure. But for millennia, humans lived under a giant that could outrun them and take what it wanted. Picture guarding camp. You see movement in the dark. Something stands taller than anything should. It takes one earth-shaking step forward. What do? The true ancient terror reigned where humans are helpless. The ocean, beneath calm surfaces for 20 million years, lurked a predator making great whites look like goldfish. Megalodon, the ocean's perfect killing machine. Scale is staggering. 60 feet long, longer than a school bus, weight 70 tons. Jaws stretching 10 feet wide, teeth the size of your hand. It preyed on whales, removing over a ton of flesh in one bite. This wasn't a coastal lurker. It patrolled warm oceans worldwide. You wouldn't see it coming. You'd just be gone. Did it kill? Monstrous efficiency. Senses locking onto whale pods miles away. Charging at 20 miles per hour despite its size. Bite force, 180,000 newtons, crushing vertebrae like twigs. The bite sawed through flesh, inflicting catastrophic wounds. For early humans and boats, a breaching megalodon would be apocalyptic. One hit, game over. While extinct 3.6 million years ago, our ancestors like Homo erectus explored coastlines during its reign. Megalodon thrived in shallow seas, exactly where humans were vulnerable. Every time early seafarers pushed beyond breakers, they entered its domain. A shadow beneath the raft. A fin the size of your boat. The primal terror of knowing something vast is down there. Why did it vanish? Climate change drained coastal nurseries. Prey, whales evolved faster and migrated to colder waters. Orca ancestors competed better. Its size became its downfall. But picture, you're on a raft. Water calm, you peer over the edge. Deep below, a shape darker than the abyss glides upward. Silent, unstoppable. What could you do? 5 predators. 5. Nightmares. The cave hyenas giggle in the dark. The terror birds' execution on open ground. Megalania's ambush in the outback. The short-faced bear's dominance on plains. Megalodon ruling the deep. It's easy to forget how fragile our foothold was. For most of human history, we weren't hunters at the top. We were on the menu. Survival was desperate struggle against incomprehensible monsters. That primal fear echoes deep in our DNA. Nights listening beyond firelight. Scanning for shapes too tall. Fearing shadows beneath waves. Surviving required cunning, cooperation, courage, and luck across generations. So what chills you most? Which predator could you have survived? Let me know in comments. I read them all. If this journey into Earth's dangerous past fascinated you, hit like. It helps tremendously. Subscribe and tap the bell. We explore lost worlds and survival stories every week. You won't want to miss what's next. We stand on survivors' shoulders. Next time you feel safe, remember the shadows they faced. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay safe, even if your biggest water threat is a goldfish.